Welcome, friends. Welcome to First Baptist Church in Gibsonton, Florida. You are at the kids' place. I'm Laura Brady, and I'm so happy to be with you today. We're going to talk about snowflakes today. Now, some of you live in a place where there's lots and lots of snow. I'm in Florida, so we don't see snow, but I grew up where there was a lot of snow. Do you like to go sledding? Or do you like to have snowball fights and build snowmen? Isn't that the most fun? It's cold, but it's fun, right? Well, today we're going to talk about snowflakes. Did you know that every snowflake is different from another snowflake? There are no two snowflakes alike, not even one. Isn't that crazy? It's just amazing that every snowflake is different. Just like you are different from every other person. God created you specifically just like you are, just like He creates every teeny tiny little snowflake different from the others. Well, today we're going to make a snowflake, and we're going to talk about this snowflake. And if you want to follow along, you may have to go back and replay this, but I'm going to show you how to make a snowflake of your own. So today I wanted to talk about snowflakes because it's January and it's cold outside and a lot of places are already getting snow. So how does a snowflake and our lives, how does that go together? Well, let me imagine for just a minute. Put your imagination caps on, and I want you to think about you being a snowflake and how God created you specifically. But, once we're born, doesn't mean that God stops working in our lives. But what He does through our lives when we're kids and growing up, things happen. Sometimes those things are not fun. Sometimes they're sad. Sometimes they hurt our hearts. But you know that God does not allow anything in our lives without purpose. But just like me cutting these little places out of this snowflake, if that were us, it would be something like maybe some sad things happening. Or some of these are good things, but still, God is taking these things that He's taking out of our lives that might be sad. And some people have had a really hard life and really had a lot of hard things to deal with and sadness in their family and losses. And sometimes we think, how can that be God? Why would He allow that in my life? Well, just like I'm cutting pieces away in this snowflake, it looks like I'm messing it all up, doesn't it? That's not very pretty. So it's kind of like that. Sometimes we don't know what God's doing. Sometimes we can't tell if He's doing something good or not because sometimes it hurts. But you know what? God promised us that He would always be there with us. He would never leave us nor forsake us. So just like He's cutting away things in our lives that seem to be hurtful, and we can't figure out how this is beautiful. If we look at Psalm 139 verse 14, it says, I will praise Thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And just like God does things in our lives that sometimes we don't understand and sometimes are hurtful, He also does great and wonderful things in our lives. And we can trust Him. Always you can trust God, because what God is doing is creating something beautiful out of those things in our lives that are sometimes hurtful, sometimes sad, but happy also. And sometimes He has to remove some stuff from our lives to make us into the beautiful creation He is working on all of your life. And I hope that today, that every time you see a snowflake, that you will think about how God created you perfectly, and He created you special. Now I want to do a snowflake with you and just kind of walk you through how to make your own snowflake. It's not really hard. So what we do is we take that piece of paper and take each corner and match the corners just like this. See, once you match the corners, then you can lay it down and press your hand across there and create a half sheet. And then you're going to do that again. So you take that paper and you fold it over corner to corner. See, the corners are meeting. And then you lay it down and you press it. And one more time. This time it's going to be not corner to corner, but it's kind of be, take that bottom corner right there, the one that's actually the center of the paper, and you're going to fold that over just like this. See how you fold it over like that? And it'll create like a space up here that doesn't match. Well, you can choose to leave that on there because it will create a cool little snowflake, or you can take it off. Most of the time I just take it off, but you can leave it on there because you're going to create the snowflake you want. Now, if it helps you, you can draw some lines and cut on the lines. And some of you that are younger, if mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or somebody's helping you, they can draw some lines. But remember, you want to draw your lines in from this side, okay? Draw some lines from this side, and then you want to draw some lines from this side, okay? Now, always keep track of where the center of your paper is so that you'll know that's where it's going to be when you open it up. So you can just cut some little triangles, or you can cut some rectangles. You can make stripes and cut those. You can just pretty much cut whatever you want. And every time I make a snowflake, it looks different. And you know why? Because I can't do it the same every time. But God doesn't do that. He doesn't make accidents. He knows exactly what He's doing in our life, and He does it with purpose. So don't ever feel like that God's forgotten you, because He certainly hasn't. He promised us that He'd be with us all the time. So I love to cut off that little corner where the center of the snowflake is. I love doing that because it always creates this really cool part in the middle. And you just cut out as much as you want on each side, because it's going to be a beautiful creation no matter how much you cut off. Just remember, don't cut all the way through. Just cut on the edges. Now, what in the world is that? That looks like a mess, doesn't it? Well, watch this. So now I have just whacked a few places out of there, but look what happened to my snowflake. Isn't that cool? See, now this snowflake looks like this, and this snowflake looks like this. So you can make all kinds of snowflakes, and even though it's not Christmas, you can still hang them up because it's winter time. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you'll come by again to the Kids Place from Gibsonton, Florida, First Baptist Church. And I am so happy to meet you today. I can't wait to see you again. Take care and have a great day.